Thank you. So let's focus on installation. Okay, introduction and installation part. We'll see what all consoles are available in AEM. Okay, even though we may not use them in this authoring training, but we will go through that. Okay. So before we begin, because authoring is going to take time, so I'm directly diving to the authoring part. Sorry, installation part. So while the installation is happening, we can go through the rest of the slides. So how do you install AEM on your system? Okay, or how do you run AEM application on system? First things first, you need to have Java installed on your system. Okay. And to check if Java is installed properly or not, just open command prompt, Java, and Java-version. And whenever you type this command, you should get some version of Java which is installed on your system. Please do not install the latest version like 16, 15, those versions. Stick with either 1.8 or Java 11. Okay. AEM is not supported on higher versions and you will come across various issues. So stick with either 1.8, this version 1.8.251 or so on till 11. Okay, that's one thing. Now, second thing is installation. All you need is this jar file. Let me just create a new folder. So let's call it norm batch, and I'll paste these two files over here so that we have a separate directory for ourselves. Now, inside this one, if you see there is one jar file, okay, and one license.properties file. This contains the license number and keys and all those things. This is the jar file which we are interested in. I'll explain what this is in some time. So first things, if you go to the slide again, you'll see there are two ways to install Java or run Java on your system initially. Okay, the first way is this works especially for Mac users, because in Mac you cannot just double click on a jar file. So either you have to do this. Okay, so to run this command, all you have to do is open command prompt where your jar file is present. Java jar. Okay, and after that, this P flag which specifies on which port number AEM is going to run. So -P space, let's say 450, and you press enter, and whatever is present inside this jar file, it will start getting extracted into a particular folder and a lot of things will start happening. That's one way. And the second way is a little bit more easier as compared to this one, which is simply just double clicking on the things. So I'm going to just double click. As soon as I double click, it created a folder called as CRX-Quick Start. And it is running, or it is basically starting my AEM instance. Okay. Now, if you like, this is the first time happening in my system, I'm creating a fresh instance basically. So this is bound to take at least 7 to 15 minutes. So by the time this is working, this is happening. Let's see other things on the slide, which is introduction.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no problem.
Disha's husband. So I have a MacBook Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we missed the first bit of it. So do you have special set of instructions for installing Java and jar on MacBook Pro?
I have never used MacBook, to be very honest, over here. So if you have double-click functionality in that, because it's a jar file, not exe file.
Yeah.
So if you can double-click, you can extract the same way. If double-click does not work for you, okay. Then
so first of all, where do I get the jar file from?
I would be providing it to.
Oh, you will be providing. I thought you already provided. I'm sorry then.
Yeah, so I'll be providing it soon. Okay. So that's the thing. Right now, the progress is being made while installation, blah, 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 blah. Let's see how long it takes. Okay. Now that this much progress has been made, there are a couple of things which I can explain right now. So whenever eventually you'll see that at a particular instance of time, this progress bar is not moving from here. It will get stuck. So to check the progress, whether something is actually happening in the background or no, you have to go to this URL, which is called as console. Basically, you can call it Felix console, system console bundles, or your bundles, basically, where jar files are deployed. And if you go to this URL, it will ask you for some blah, blah, blah. Enter the username and password, which is by default admin and admin. And you will see this bundle information. So out of 579 bundles, 150 bundles are active. This is the status, and 424 are in installed state. Ideally, all the bundles should be active. Keep on refreshing. These numbers will keep on changing. But even after refreshing and waiting for 2-3 minutes, this number is not changing. Okay, let's wait. Meanwhile, let's complete the introduction slide, and then we'll come back over here and see if the number is still not changing. Then I'll tell you the way how to find out that AEM is not stuck. AEM is doing something in the background. Okay. So coming over here, introduction part. I think we saw the introduction yesterday as well, but it's the same thing. AEM is a CMS. CMS as in content or content management system or content management solution. Many people call it solution as well. So as I explained yesterday, what is content? Let's open our website. This entire thing that you see, these icons, this image, this icon, again, this icon, this entire image section. Similarly, these images, there is a video playing over here. Similarly, you can have some audios as well. You can have GIFs installed over here. And also these texts and everything is content, okay, which you can create and manage with the help of AEM. That's why the term content management solution or content management system. Now, why AEM or any other CMS tool? The reason for that is it contains all the softwares, if all the applications clubbed together under a single umbrella or under a single software, rather than you needing an external database one more document management system, one for storing the user data. All those things are not required anymore. Everything can be managed at a single place. Business do not have to spend lots of money on different various licenses, and also the more licenses you keep on adding, or the more products you keep on adding, more people you need to hire. Let's say if everything is not present on a particular platform, on a single platform, you have database, which is, let's say, NoSQL database is there. You have document management system, one, and then you have some other thing which generates the renditions and manages the images on website. So you need 3 different people, one for database, one to manage the document management system, and one with the designing skills who can create the renditions for these photos. Because as you move across various screens as in, let's say this my aspect ratio of the screen is something. If I change this aspect ratio tomorrow, things should change. See, the image is changing over here. That's how the things are. Okay. And depending on the aspect ratio of the screen, which image has to be used, how the image has to be changed, all those things are changed. So for this, you need a special kind of person who can create these small images for you. Otherwise, your website will appear broken or it won't be responsive. So the design person. So you have to pay 3 persons. But if everything is in AEM, you may not need that many people at all. I hope you're getting this concept, why people run behind a management system rather than having individual. And also you have the assurity of a particular CMS. Okay. That's one thing. And again, the ease of use, which you will see soon. Okay. So ease of use, which is there, we will, once the installation is complete, we'll see this statement, which says that it's very easy to use. We'll see how authoring and all these things work actually. An important features of AEM is again DAM. DAM is basically a digital asset management or digital asset manager. Now, the latest feature of AEM is actually you have something called a single page application. You can create single page applications. Are you guys aware about single page applications? What are they?
Yeah, Ashish. Using
Yeah.
Angular, we can create single page array.
Yeah. So Angular and React both. What happens in page application is you do not load your page. Your page does not get loaded. On a single URL, all the things are happening. You click something else is open. Your redirection won't happen. Everything is hidden and shown. It's a very unique concept in its own. And core components in enhance. Now you have something called as AEM as a cloud service. Okay. So that it is giving Adobe Experience Manager lots of cloud capabilities as well. Then you have Java 11 support as well. And along with this, integrations. Integrations, the one which we saw yesterday about the marketing cloud, all those things can be integrated. Apart from that as well, if you need any external system which exists in market that has to be integrated in AEM, it's possible to integrate those things as well. Okay. And if you see this now, this has already started. So I don't think I can show you right now what I was planning to do, but let me just explain how I would have checked if there was no progress happening inside this pop-up window. So for that, you need to go to CRX Quick Start. You need to go to logs. You have something called as error log. Okay. this error.log file. Open it with Notepad++ only, because traditional Notepad does not support this feature. So what we do is, once, let's say if your AEM is stuck somewhere, all you have to do is open the log file, okay, and just switch between the tabs or switch between the windows. Let's say right now you are Notepad++, just go to Chrome, stay here for a second or 2 seconds, and then come back to the Notepad++. It should give you this kind of message that this file has been modified by another program. Do you want to reload it? So what it means is, whatever has been rendered or whatever has been loaded over here, something is happening in the background, and some service or something, some application is working and adding logs to this file. So as long as logs are getting added, we are not worried about anything. Okay, so right now there's no log getting added over here. What it means is either AEM is actually stuck, no progress is being made, or there's no request being made to the our Adobe Experience Manager application. In my case, AEM has started, but I'm not using AEM, so no logs are getting generated. First things first, let's open AEM. Okay, now you see there is a new log which got entered over here. So that's how you can check whether AEM is stuck or AEM is actually moving. That was one thing. Let's see this as well. How do you open AEM? So if you see, there's a very important thing which is specified over here. It's called HTTP localhost 502. Either you can click on this URL and it will open something for you in your default browser, or you can simply type localhost port number on which you are working on. In my case, it's 4502. You can press enter. So both are same screens, and if I log in at both places, admin, both will bring me to the same page. Now, inside this, we'll see what all things are available, even though we may not use them, but we'll just see what are various screens which are available inside AEM, so that even though you are being author, you may not use CRXDE, you may not use you will use DAM admin, you may not use package manager, you may not use user admin system console and configuration manager, but it's to understand the entire AEM as a whole system, you need to know what all these things are, how do you access them, and what functionality does they serve. Let's first start with this guy, CRXDE. Okay. So there are two ways to go to CRXDE. First is direct, where you open a tab, enter the URL to the CRXDE, and you already go there. The second way is you first log in into AEM, you go to this tools option, you go to general, and inside this CRXDE. Okay. Now, quick thing, if you read, what does it say? What does this window or this button tile is all about? So it says it gives you a full repository access with code editor and nodes properties management. What does it mean? First, full repository access. Let's talk about that. So AEM or any software which stores data is going to have a repository, right, where the data would be stored. So this window or this console, CRXDE, gives you how the data is stored. Okay, whatever data that is present over here, AEM reads it and presents it in a pictorial format for you. That's one thing. Then it says it gives you nodes and properties management. So in AEM, everything is a resource. And if you click on any folder, any node, any page, that is going to have some properties. Okay. Some properties, as in there are only 4 properties over here. Some might have different set of properties. Some will have different set of properties. So you can manage these properties. When I say manage, few are default present, so you cannot do a lot of things about them. But rest of the things you can add, create, delete, update. You can basically perform CRUD operations or modify as well. So all those things can be performed. So that's why this terminology, nodes and properties management. Okay. So anything you add over here, that comes into the part properties management. And anything that, let's say all these are nodes. Okay. If all these are nodes, I can simply right click and click on create another folder. I'll call it test sample. See everything. And now I have a new node which is present inside the AEM. So I can create nodes. Let's say I want to update it. Let's call it just 1.1. Save it. Now I updated it. Let's say if I want to delete it, I can delete that as well. So all the things are possible. So that's why nodes and properties. And the code editor. Code editor, when I say, let's open something. So there is a CSS file. You can edit the files directly over here. That's what the code editor is all about. Any question in this first?
Not.
Okay. That's one thing. And as an AEM developer, majority of your time would be spent inside this screen only. Majority, when I say 70 to 80% of your time would be spent over here. Then the second screen that we have in our list is DAM admin. DAM, we saw this terminology being used multiple times. Let's see, how do you open a DAM? Go to navigation, go to assets, go to file. Or another way is you can directly enter this URL, or you can bookmark this URL. You can simply go to the bookmark and open it. Let me show you one more thing. So if you see, you are referencing a particular path over here, right? Some assets.html, and then you are referencing a particular path. Similarly, over here as well, if you click on this one, you will reference the same path, which is /content/tam /content/tam. And if you check the number of folders which are present, catalog core and all these things, same things are present over here as well. So why there? And if you just go to this path, okay, remember one thing. Whenever you are trying to access any page in AEM, okay, any page apart from CRXDE, it will get resolved, or you can basically copy paste. Oops, you can copy this path, and if you go to CRXDE and you paste that path, it will get resolved to a particular node. in CRXDE. It has to. What happens is this asset.html, it contains some programs or some styling which reads data from this path /content/DAM, which is this folder, and whatever is present inside this one is being rendered like this. Similarly, this DAM admin is doing the same thing. It is reading the data from content DAM. Okay, this data is being read and this data is being rendered over here. And to show that all the data is coming from here, let me quickly go to this place. And what I'll do is I'll just change it to catalogs new, the title. I'm just changing the title to show you that this is the place where data is coming from. Let me reload. See, don't show again. This is catalogs new. It turned out to be, and this was also catalogs. Let me do a quick refresh. It becomes catalogs new. So all the data that is coming over here is coming from here. That's one thing. Now, the second question that should come to your mind is, why do we have, if we are rendering the same place or data, same data from a particular folder, content is same, everything is same. So why do we have two different URLs for the same place? Or two different interfaces, user interfaces for the same, to do the same task or to render the same things? That's where, to answer this question, your touch UI and classic UI concepts come into picture. So AEM, guys, listen to this very carefully. Any AEM application which is running, internally it has two modes as well. Okay, one is classic UI and one is touch UI. And does anyone know the difference between these two? Can anyone make a guess?
I can explain.
Yes.
So classic is basically a traditional web browser rendering, right? And then touch UI is mainly for all touch enabled devices, correct?
Yep. Okay, so that's how it is. And sorry, I did not get your name. Kuldeep.
Yeah, I'm Kuldeep. So
Yep.
again, as my wife gave you guys introduction yesterday, I'm just helping her with the class.
Yes, no
Okay.
problem. No, actually it says Disha. So yes, so as Kuldeep said, it's absolutely correct. So what happened is, AEM was initially launched with only classic UI. There was no touch UI. But with the rise in the popularity of your touch devices, as in your smartphones, your laptops, your tablets, and whatnot. So classic UI was not responsive enough to be handled by those touch devices. Okay, so it was really difficult for developers to work on those devices due to unresponsiveness of classic UI. So to tackle that, Adobe introduced Touch UI, okay, and as the name suggests, touch. Okay, so the primary focus, okay, is to cater the needs of a touch devices. It's more focused on the touch-oriented touch-oriented screens, where, for example, laptops and so on, laptops or tablets, and that's how this came into picture. Another important thing to note over here is, whatever you can do from a touch user interface, all the things can also be done from a classic user interface. So now what has happened in 6.5 is, Adobe has deprecated this classic UI. They have said that they're not going to support classic UI anymore. So when they say that not going to support, that means they're not going to enhance anything in classic UI now. their classic UI is going to remain the part of their 6.5 application, but they are not going to support that feature anymore. They're not going to enhance, they're not going to update any code, they're not going to release any patch or any service packages to support or to update the classic UI code. That's why if you see, many organizations have stopped using classic UI and they moved to touch UI because Adobe is not going to support these things anymore. Again, even after that, there are many organizations which are still using classic UI, because moving from classic UI to touch UI, you have to do some changes in the code base so that whatever dialogues you are able to access in touch UI can be accessed in classic UI as well. And so that's a very internal concept. So moral of the story is, to move from classic UI to touch UI, you need to have developers work around the clock so that your project can be updated. And that involves money. So many clients are still sticking to classic UI because it's not hampering their work. That's one thing. And this is the place where you upload your files, images, and other things. So let me quickly show you how do you upload a file. Okay. So let's go to desktop. Desktop now. Yes, you click on done, and the image gets uploaded. It's currently in the processing. If you double click on this image, you have this image. There are certain renditions which are automatically generated. 48 by 48 PNG, 140 into 100. You have 319 into 319, 1280 into 1280 JPEG images, and this is the original image which was uploaded. So this renditions will help you to excuse me. This rendition will help you whenever you are switching between various channels or various screens, as in, again, various touch devices, or in general any devices. Depending on the logic that you write, you do not have to worry about creating the images. You can decide which image has to be placed, and that's it. Can be authored from there. Okay. Similar thing, if you reload this now, you'll see the image present over here. Okay, that's one thing. Now, after that, we have something called as site admin. So I'll quickly walk you through the site admin. So now that we are inside this one, to open the site admin, just go to the navigation, click on go back, click on sites. It will open the site admin for you. Similarly, if you want to access site admin, so again, as you can see, this is the classic UI of site admin, and this is the touch UI. This is the place where you can create your pages and manage them. In AEM, all the pages where you drag and drop the components as an AEM author or as a developer as well, where you test your components, this is the place where the pages are created. A page can be created from classic UI as well and from touch UI as well. Both are again going to serve the same purpose, and reason you have two interfaces, because one is touch enabled and another one is just classic UI. So eventually, what becomes a habit for developer or anyone is which user interface are they comfortable with. Okay, personally, I find classic UI still much better, because on a single click I can see what exactly is inside this one. But the same thing is possible over here as well, but it's just having something appearing over here again and again. I do not like this, because I spend most of my time in CRXDE making things working, just doing node manipulation and all those things. So this interface and this interface is quite similar. So I'm more habitual, or more preference for me goes to this one. You might be inclined to use this one. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a developer's habit, which they develop eventually while working on project. So this is where everything related to your pages would be created. And if you see, this is also inside /content. Okay, I'll come to this. Then you have something called as package manager. So package manager is another screen which is not divided into classic or touch UI. Let me tell you how you can go to package manager. Again, click on this top corner. Click on this, go to deployment, go to packages. That's one place. Or you can directly enter CRX/package manager and it will bring you to the package manager as well. This is packages, anything you want to install in AEM, anything you want to add, that any content manipulation inside AEM can be managed with the help of packages as well. Then you have something called as user admin. You can go to user admin, just type /user admin, press enter. This is the place where you create your users, manage their permissions, and so on. Again, there's a lot of technicalities involved in creating a user. How do you manage their permissions? And how do you do other things? But this is the window where you would be creating your users and groups. Similarly, you have system console. So this is your system console bundles. And earlier it was only 424. Now that AEM is up and running, once I reload, all the bundles are active. And this is the place where your custom jar file will be deployed over here. Deploy a jar file, all you have to click on install, select the jar file, and boom, your whatever the jar file which you're uploading will automatically be uploaded without affecting all these jar files. You won't have to shut them down. After that, you have something called as configuration manager. So configuration manager is basically to manage your configurations related to your entire project. So again, configuration manager is not something a developer or an author would be interacting with a lot, but there are some project related configurations. Okay, let's say your global keys, API keys, some URLs, some global paths, all those things can be configured over here, and we can use them in the project. Again, this is something more on the development side. It's not needed for authoring training, but I just thought it's good to have, like, if you know about these things, at least they exist. It's more than enough. So is there any other window which is left? No. So any questions? Guys?
Ashish, I'm sure you can host multiple sites within this platform, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So I think uploading the packages or changing any key value here. So you might be able to configure at a site level, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, packages are uploaded in your package manager. Okay. This is bundle. This is related to your Java code and all those things. So whatever manipulation you want to do with Java, any backend service that you write for it to be usable in your project, the jar file has to be deployed over here.
I see. So any of my microservices, if I develop, the jar would come here, correct?
Yes, it has to be manually or programmatically deployed. Sorry, with the help of build tool, even has to be deployed. And then only you can use those services from CRXDE's code editor.
I see.
Again, this was a more theoretical session. So eventually, I think tomorrow's session will also be a little bit theoretical, where we are going to see the architecture and other stuff. Yes, soon we'll start diving into the hands-on part once the theory part is ready. Meanwhile, do you have any questions for me? Any concerns? Anything you want to understand or discuss? Okay, so if there are no questions, then I'll simply do this. Okay, and I think that's all from my side. Srinivas, are you there? Okay, no problem. So guys, Srinivas will reach out to you with the enrollments. Okay, like just help him with that, and then we can continue the further sessions. And once the enrollments are done, I'll be sharing the softwares with you. Okay.
Thanks, Rajesh.
Ashish, just to be
Yes.
very clear, this is more focused towards authoring, not the development part, right?
Yes.
Just to be clear, because I was just curious to attend the class today with my wife, just to make
Mhm.
sure that, as you know, she is from non-technical background. So I
Yes.
might be helping her in order to kickstart. But
Mhm.
as long as this is, less technical and more focused toward authoring, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I explained it to her yesterday as well,
Yeah, she
that
does.
we are not going to write very much code or a lot of code. Basically, here and there, some tricks where coding might be involved. But it's good if she's stepping into this domain, then it's good if she knows about the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Java.
That part is fine. I think I can take care of HTML, CSS, JavaScript part and explainer. Java part, I'm mainly a C# developer. So again,
Yep, then no problem with that.
yeah.
Sure. So she'll be able to grab it, no problem. Over here.
Perfect. And then if there are any resources outside this which you would like us to read, please share it.
Yes,
that we
definitely. Definitely.
could read on those lines. Okay. All right, great.
Okay, then thanks everyone for joining. I'll see you in the next session.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye,
Thank you
sir.
all.
Thank you.